we can now conclude that the Jamaica men's national team is on the verge of evicting the Copa America as they went down 3 goals to 1 to the Ecuadorian team. Jamaica played horrendous in the first half. However, the second half was better off. And today on Premier 7, I just want to go through the game in less than 10 minutes, sharing what I think and how I feel about the game. Despite loss, Jamaica's players displayed effort against Ecuador is the instant topic that came to my mind. I am not disappointed when I saw how the players came out and represented themselves in the second half. We should not ignore the fact that the first goal was a deflection. Let's say it was more so a lucky goal, even though goal is goal. And the second one was, I mean, Gregory was unfortunate. So we could conclude to say that only one decent goal was scored by Ecuador, and on the other hand, the same for Jamaica. That game should have ended 1-1, but Jamaica lost. However, the positive is that Jamaica scored its first goal in the Copa America, having been there 2 times in 2 different editions this year. Mikel Antonio broke the curse. And I have to applaud him because he could have had 2 goals if, the first game against Mexico did not went outside of our favor. But the truth was he was offside. Now I don't want to stick to Antonio for too long because it was an holistic performance that was up and down in the first half. However, the second half was applauded. I mean, Coach Hallgrímsson, you would have been in serious trouble if you never made the changes in the second half. However, I want for you to understand that the 3 at the back system should not be the ideal way going forward for Jamaica. Because the thing is, if you see the game, people, Jamaica had issues, whereas Ecuador was dominating the midfield and making some passes that were overlapping or kicked over our midfield. If Ethan Pinnock wasn't a composed defender, as the best defender in the national team, our nets will be flooded. And I applaud Mr. Hector as well, who came on and did a decent job. I would love to see Jamaica won that game, but we are seeing the differences, whereas better teams are seen where the international FIFA men's ranking is concerned. Jamaica isn't on the level of Ecuador, but we matched them in the second half from the start. However, Coach Hallgrímsson, your decision in terms of making substitutions has to be better. All right, so we're just sticking to the positive here. We had to tar out our brain because that was a game that frazzled our mind a bit, and we want to just take a little better drive on the road. Um, I'm not sure what happened to Bernard. He was substituted. Damian Lowe, never played well. Kyle Dixon came on late for Nicholson. I thought he should have come on a bit earlier on. Anderson, Latibodier, all right, can we think about. Lembikisa, I thought he should have came off earlier than that as well. So I think the major issue was a case of poor decision, whereas substitution is concerned. Again, apart from the formational setup, the decision to make changes was not on point. But people, I have to say that the Reggae Boys played commendable in the second half. And I will always stick to the second half, even though 2 halves is what the game is always about. But we're seeing a huge difference between us and Ecuador. Ecuador plays in a system. Ecuador players are more dominant than Jamaica. Quality is above us. Even if some of them don't play in the most recognized league in Europe, as a team, they were amazing to watch. From the get go, Ecuador was on point, even though in the second half, or let's say when Jamaica scored, they looked a bit rusty, but they stood up to the task. And that final goal that was being scored put the icing on the cake by Alan Minda, who received a 7.3 rating. So before I close, I just want to just talk about the statistical part to show you that Jamaica has improved. So the shots, though, we were nowhere close. Ecuador took way more shots than us. But I mean, the national team, they look quite up to the task because I had to applaud the movement of a Bobby Reed, the movement of a Antonio. These guys exercised what exposure means on the highest level. And again, if I never said it before, Mr. Ethan Pinnock was so composed. He was so composed as an experienced center back. He was composed. Loved the way he played, and without him in the national team, Jamaica wouldn't have been so decent. So look at this now, people. Look at this. So the shots in total, Ecuador took a lot, but we outdo them with shots on target. We outdo them with position, passes. The accuracy was matched up. We committed a lot of fouls, though. We got more yellow cards. But looking in the game, whereas Jamaica received the benefit of the doubt, if you should look on statistics, it showed that Jamaica was somewhat unfortunate, but Ecuador did manage to make the best of their opportunities. So I am not here to be negative. I'm not here to cuss and to rush anyone because at the end of the day, the game is not easy. But we can take this as a positive going forward into the World Cup qualifying games. Let's hope that Jamaica can salvage a point against Venezuela and take this actions that we put out there on the pitch into the World Cup qualifiers. So, people, it was my pleasure to be here in delivering on my personal opinion surrounding the game between Jamaica and Ecuador. As the topic states, despite loss, Jamaica's players displayed effort against Ecuador. Let me know what you think, and I will surely reply when you comment.